Did you hear that? Someone needs help. But who?
Hi there!
Year 2022 marks the 30th anniversary of Barney and Friends, the series that launched the stardom of Barney the Dinosaur on television. Today, we're shining a spotlight on the franchise by taking a look at the first season of this program, the one that started it all, to see what it was all about. The watch-through done for this was something very interesting and eye-opening for me personally, as I'd grown up with a lot of this season, but had never before sat down to watch it all the way through. So much was familiar, yet so much new, and I wanted to share my experience with all of you. Barney and Friends, the first season.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm Barney the Dinosaur.
Barney and Friends hit the air on April 6, 1992. It's not the easiest thing to come across someone that doesn't know the base premise revolving Barney, but for those unfamiliar, Barney is a stuffed dinosaur toy residing at a school. Through the imaginations of young children, Barney then comes to life to care for the kids, teach them lessons, and play. Coming off the heels of Barney and the Backyard Gang's final VHS outing, it should be no surprise that the new program would bring over elements from its predecessor. This was of course done for a variety of reasons, to save on time, to save on production costs, but also to breathe a sense of familiarity for those who'd known the show prior. One of the most notable aspects of this would be its characters. Out of all of the kids from the latter half of Barney's Backyard Gang videos, Amy, Jeffrey, and Adam would be the only few who would not make appearances in the PBS series. Michael, Tina, Lucy, and Derek would all make their way over, whilst new characters would be introduced as series regulars. These characters being Min, Sean, Tasha, and Kathy, who made her first appearance just 1 year beforehand in Barney and the Backyard Gang Rock with Barney. Baby Bop would also become a series regular. The kids themselves are great, with an attempt made to give them a level of personality similar to those from the Backyard Gang home videos. Their acting is fine for the production they were a part of, and they all bring their own charm to the episodes. Tina carries herself with the presence of someone who'd been with Barney for a long time, leading the rest of the group on different occasions, which makes the most sense. She at times can also be heard referencing memorable moments from Barney and the Backyard Gang, as a little nod, but not in ways that would confuse viewers unfamiliar with the past series.
Barney, Barney, touch the ground. Are you on flight? Oh no, he's tangled up in the jump rope again.
Sorry, kids.
Michael is also shown to be that of an older kid helping the younger ones out, whether it be creating projects or giving ideas based on his previous interactions with Barney. Sean is obviously the youngest of the bunch, and early on would often look towards his older cast members during dance routines, or even just for reassurance. Derek, for some reasons, during different songs will just speak the lyrics rather than singing them, which I thought was a little strange, but I mean, he's cool. I've always really enjoyed Derek. Lucy has easily the best acting out of the main cast of human characters. She's a natural, and it's very much a pro when it comes to her age at the time of filming. But that doesn't mean it's without its cons. Given that Leah Gloria was 14 in 1992, there are a good amount of times in which the entire cast is in the frame, and you're just looking, being like, yeah, she might be a little too old to be here right now, but yeah, it's fine, whatever. But Lucy being with her sister Tina is something the show needed. It added a sibling dynamic that could be played around with, and it was just wholesome in general. Kathy is delightful, curious, carries her teddy wherever she goes, and has scenes that could just absolutely melt your heart to pieces. Min is wonderful. Pia Hamilton's acting is phenomenal, and her excitement towards just the concept of imagination, I think, is what always made her my favorite character. Also, there was one time where Baby Bop was leaving and Min just got like kind of mean for like no real reason, like at all.
No, I'm tired from the hot cold song. I want to go night-night. Naps? Yuck. Bye-bye.
Like what the, bro? Tasha loves surprises and is only brought into the series about halfway in. She's the new kid and learns about the others as they learn together. Barney himself is exactly as friendly as he had been in the home video series prior. In some instances, he's actually written and presented as somewhat of a lovable doofus, which is interesting.
I just don't understand what could have happened. It just,
Barney!
yes, Michael?
You're holding the map backwards. The words are on the other side.
Barney!
Just kidding. Okay.
His mentor role is strong, and he gives off the vibe of an imaginary teacher with each passing episode. While there are times that it feels Barney's ad-libs can be a bit too much, specifically during songs, you can tell that the voice, Bob West, and body performer, David Joyner, are growing their connectivity as the show goes on. In early episodes, Barney's mouth movements are more sporadic, as Joyner struggles a bit to predict West's different inflections. However, in time, the puppeting improves, and West begins to test whether or not he can relate to Joyner when Barney should perform leaps into the air with vocal build-ups.
Then maybe you could hold the egg and keep it warm until it hatches.
Maybe that would work. Oh boy, I always wanted to be a mama hen.
I bring this up as these two performers together are a driving force, making up two halves of the character's personality. Barney would go from a character that at first seemed a tad unsure of himself, to one brimming with confidence and excitement in both voice and actions through the works of both West and Joyner together, and it's truly inspiring to watch. Baby Bop is very baby here. She speaks about herself in third person and is treated like a baby, being taught different lessons by the kids before leaving each episode she appears in. Her role is nothing too huge, but her purpose is served well, and adds an extra little something to the program. With Barney, I've always been of the belief that even just a pinch of something that the kids can call their own is enough to make them interesting. And in the end, they're all just kids. Kathy totes her teddy wherever she goes and wants to fit in, doing what everyone else does. Min hates naps, as kids normally do, and comes from a household of 9, explaining her aversion to sharing her things throughout the show. Lucy is the older sister of Tina, and at times can be seen acting almost motherly to both her younger sibling and even Sean. It's things like this that make these characters as relatable as they can be, and fun to watch, as you want for them to learn and to live lives under what they teach to each other.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation.
Barney's main theme gains a new coat of paint, utilizing the iconic beginning and ending lines of the song, while interchanging the middle portion to fit with the new program. Barney and Friends also carries over songs from Barney and the Backyard Gang. It was very heartwarming to hear an instrumental ring out for a song that was used in the Backyard Gang videos, and recognizing them immediately. Songs like The Happy Wanderer.
A little traveling music, please. Hiking we will go.
And Six Little Ducks being great examples.
Now let's hear the song.
This duck reminds me of a song.
You mean...
Barney and Friends makes a great effort to introduce new songs as well. My Family is Just Right for Me.
They come in all different sizes and different kinds, but mine's just right for me. Yeah, mine's just right for me.
And The Barney Bag both make their first appearances in this season. Now, of course, with a show of this nature being 30 minutes per program, the biggest majority of each episode is filled with music, meaning an average of at least 10 different songs per show. And not every song is a winner.
Don't get in their car.
No!
Don't take anything from them.
No!
In fact, there's a lot of songs that I believe just make the episodes worse. I mean, the messages are nice, but just the song sucks. I'm sorry. It's interesting though, too, because there are new songs introduced that are kind of cool, I guess, but they just don't really mean anything. Like when Barney grabs a glass of milk and they just start singing about it.
There's nothing like a glass of milk.
That's right.
Nothing like a glass of milk. We've looked around, but have never found anything better than milk.
Like you can't tell me this wasn't done to pad the episode out. Like what? Why is y'all singing about this? Like who cares?
To me, why don't you run? I see you don't have any gun.
You what?
Music is important, and credit where it's due, because there are many staple songs brought to the forefront here that would be used in future outings for the franchise. Some new songs have also even made my favorites list, such as the song about overcoming your fears.
Thunder used to scare me, but that was before Barney taught me that the things that used to bother me really aren't so scary at all.
And even the song involving rhyming different words with those that start with the letter N.
Pickle.
Nickel!
Hose.
House!
Game.
Name!
Fun.
Nut!
We're all done.
Crew also made good use of taking songs previously sung in past episodes and repurposing the lyrics to give it a whole new feel and fit with an entirely different episode. A lot of effort was put in to put these songs together for the series, especially factoring in the time crunch the team was on. Even if not every song hit, they were there and they served a purpose, and that's all that really matters.
A star!
And it's just for you.
Twinkle, twinkle.
The first season of Barney and Friends makes itself very apparent that it is indeed the first season. It should only be natural to address the elephant in the room when it comes to the nature of this series of episodes. There's a strong air of awkwardness that fills the episodes unintentionally, especially early on. Whereas the Barney in the Backyard Gang home videos would see the characters traveling to imaginative areas and different sets often, switching to primarily one school setting for 30 episodes would of course prove to be somewhat challenging and different. While it's clear that specific themes are very much put forth as a grounding point in each episode, many come off somewhat incohesive throughout their entirety. It's been stated by former cast members and staff that time was certainly an issue during production. The time crunch affecting different factors of the series that are hard to ignore. Barney's lack of yellow toes when he appears as his plush form is one of the few most pointed out visual aspects relating to the production. However, the biggest issue the first season seemed to face was padding. The amount of times an episode had to have songs repeated back to back in order to fill the 30-minute runtime is too many to count. Some instances being as early as the first episode, The Queen of Make-Believe.
Dance and dance and dance until you all fall down with me. Whee!
After Barney and the crew sing Old King Cole, Barney makes an odd request.
May we do the dance again?
Yes, you may. Let the dance continue.
Oh, goody! Here we go.
They could not do this and get away with it today. They literally just sang Old King Cole twice for 3 minutes straight. I know them kids was tired. Another instance being the fourth episode, Hop to It, which is my least favorite episode of the entire season.
That family of jumping frogs you did at the end reminds me of a song about how animals exercise. Let's all do it together.
In which the ending is comprised of the cast pretending to be animals and repeating the same song and routine for 4 straight minutes.
I think we should all sing it again, okay?
At the end of every episode, there is also a segment known as Barney Says. Here, Barney returns to summarize the events of the program and the lessons taught throughout.
Hello again to all my friends. I'm glad you came to play. Our fun and learning never ends. Here's what we did today.
The thing is, the runtime of this segment itself tends to fluctuate and can also be seen as a way to pad the episode out more in order to fill the allotted screen time. These script timing issues make up much of the first half of the season, making it apparent that the staff had not yet gained their footing in this area and can make watch-throughs feel somewhat exhausting.
Here's a square on the table. I see a triangle. I spot a square. It's right there.
And there's another circle.
It would not be until the season's latter half that things would pick back up, with episodes using its main theme across the full program without feeling the need to trail off and insert songs only slightly related to the focused topic. So I actually found myself looking to see who wrote each episode because I realized that the show would switch off between Stephen White and Mark Bernthal as episode writers, and I usually enjoyed the ones written by White a lot more. I'd be like, God, this one is so boring. Like, who's responsible? Who did this? Oh, okay, I got you. You know what? That makes sense. Never mind. It's also just really funny because I found that the episodes that had Lucy in them ended up being my least favorite of the entire season. And that made me really upset because it's not her fault. And I love Lucy. I also feel like the episodes with Mark Bernthal showed that he didn't really understand like how to transition from talking into a song. He'd always just have them say, why don't we sing this song that we always sing? And then they would sing the song.
And I love you. Let's all sing our song before you leave. Because love is the most special word of all. Let's sing our I love you song before we have to leave.
Like, you don't have to say that. You can just sing the song. God, that would drive me insane. I hated when they did that. And they did that a lot throughout season 1. This isn't a problem that Barney and Friends just had in this season. They would continue to have that through at least season 3. But it's so baffling. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just a nitpick of mine. But this isn't even in the script. This is just me going off. All right, back to the program. Whatever. Back to the spotlight.
Play ball!
While execution wasn't always the greatest, the messages themselves were genuine. There wasn't a single time in which the lessons taught felt inauthentic or that the theme was hammered in too far. Across the 30 episodes, Barney and Friends went into many different topics ideal for the school setting, as well as keeping the core of Barney intact. Episodes such as Alphabet Soup had the kids relating different songs to the words they'd spell on a chalkboard. In 4 Seasons Day, the crew delve into the intricacies of all 4 seasons and what makes them each unique. Anything you'd imagine hearing taught in an elementary school was essentially thrown at a wall and opened up. The diversity of the cast also allowed for language learning. Min, being Filipina, would at times sing songs in Tagalog.
Dalawang tenga, dalawang mata, ilong na maganda.
Tina, in the same fashion, would do just that, but in Spanish instead.
A las muchachas bonitas se las cantamos así.
Where Barney and Friends would shine, however, would be the episodes in which imagination is at the forefront, the franchise's bread and butter. The treasure of Rainbow Beard is often brought up as it sees the friends completing small different tasks in order to unearth a treasure left by an imaginary pirate, played by show writer Stephen White.
Sincerely yours, Rainbow Beard the Pirate.
And Let's Help Mother Goose, Mother Goose is brought out and teaches her nursery rhymes to everyone in order to refill damaged pages from her book.
I want everyone to use their imagination.
That's our favorite game.
It sure is!
The very concept of imagination is something that could not have been shelved aside, regardless of the new educational elements the show had to take on after hitting PBS, and it's clear that the staff put their best foot forward to maintain it. Complaints would often be thrown around from parents saying that Barney was too sugary, mindless, and free of conflict, when in reality, it's far from it. While a good amount of the time the kids would get along fine, there would be moments where this wasn't the case. The kids had their small spats with each other, and when they did, it was honestly like a breath of fresh air. Barney episodes can be over-friendly at times, so any emotion of this nature is very much welcomed. You're not going to agree all the time, especially as a child. It's what makes us special as humans, and the production crew knew that. When Tasha first debuted, Michael and Derek argued over who'd get to keep an art piece, later making up and deciding that Tasha should keep it, being that it was her first day at the school. While of course, I don't feel these conflicts lasted as long as they should have in order to fully relate to childlike arguments, it's a show, and the time spent on these issues is well within the allotted time they have to fit in. One thing season 1 of this series does amazingly well is its attention to detail and getting you to care for everyone on screen. One example being the episode Playing It Safe. After cleaning up the classroom, the gang head home, but Barney is left as the only toy left on the floor. I remember watching this and out loud going like, wait, did they not? Bro, Y'all left something on the... They probably forgot. I don't even think like the producers realized that they literally just left one thing on the floor. And right when I said that, Derek walked back in frame, placed Barney on the table, and laid a bandage on his tail for when he'd injured it earlier in the episode.
There you go, Barney. Now that bandage is just the right size. See you tomorrow.
It's little things like this that are so sweet and just sentimental to me. In Happy Birthday, Barney, Kathy spends the entire show wondering what to gift Barney for his big day. Ultimately, she hands him her teddy and... oh my god, I could cry.
He's a really good teddy. You'll like him.
Kathy is one of the best characters just for this alone. It's selfless and innocent and reflects her character so well.
What I'd really like is for you to keep Teddy. Presents can be nice, but it's the gift of love that's important. And thank you for giving me the gift of love.
An absolute favorite of mine, however, is Caring Means Sharing. Min and Kathy fight over who gets to play with Barney early on.
I feel like a rubber band that's been stretched.
Over the course of the episode, Barney teaches everyone the joys of sharing, and they both make up in the end. Barney then says something that I will forever keep close to my heart.
It's the gift of love, and you can keep it if you want to, but the more you share love, the more you'll have. Just try it.
It's things like this, little things like this, again, that make all the difference. Unconditional love is a mainstay and staple within the franchise, of course, but in short bursts, it means so much, especially when it's used to help resolve a conflict.
I love you, Barney. Me too. Come on, okay.
Now, I wanted to ease things and end things with the final episode of this season, Everyone is Special. It's honestly amazing how much of a bookend it ends up being. Both episode 1 and the finale begin with Min playing pretend, standing atop the tree stump. Both episodes also enforce the thought that everyone is born special, something Barney had been preaching since the days of the Backyard Gang. The finale deals with the different abilities we all share and what makes us each unique. The entire cast is present as Barney reveals a package delivered to him earlier. As the kids all look to view the item, it turns out to be a mirror, leading the kids to all say something about each other that makes them unique.
Because you are special, and you are too.
You may be noticing that I haven't talked too terribly much about Barney himself, and that's because his role remains the same no matter where he's placed. The kids are the soul, while Barney is the heart. The kids figure out the world and their surroundings, and Barney is there to lead them onto the right path. He's there to show them love and a hand in need, and that's something Season 1 never fails to remember. When someone is struggling, Barney is only ever a few feet away. He isn't real, but in their mind, he's as real as their imagination allows him to be, making him just as present as ever. He's the teacher, he's the mentor, he's the fatherly figure, and he's only a stuffed animal. Season 1 of Barney and Friends proved itself to have somewhat of a rough start, as any beginning series will. But over time, it grew into itself, starting to really gain its footing and understanding of its purpose. 4 episodes would be released under the Barney Home Video VHS line, and later the remaining 26 would be individually put out on VHS as well by Time Life Video. After its initial run, the show would be cancelled, but after fan outcry, more episodes were ordered and the show picked production right back up again. The staff and cast worked hard to bring the big purple dinosaur to the TV screen and started what is now known as a cultural phenomenon. If nothing else, Season 1 of Barney and Friends served as an important stepping stone of trial and error, gradual improvement, and a necessary series, introducing Barney the Dinosaur to millions across the world and reminding them all that they're special. Amanda, Austin, Autistic Disney, Brandon, Chaco, Daniel, Emilia, Helen, Ian, Luke, Matthew, Quirky Girl.